Hello, welcome to Green Room Unplugged. I'm your host, Dante Griffith, and today I'm with the incredible Soul Movers. Hello, welcome.
You're
Hey,
incredible
Dante.
too, Dante.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Lizzie. We're backstage at the Whitehorse
City Council.
Australia. Yep, City Council. What did it say? Whitehorse City Council Festival.
Fabulous Whitehorse
The
show.
fabulous Whitehorse City Council Fair. We're backstage, so if you hear any background noise, that is why. I'm going to start off with, what's your favourite song? Both of you.
Of all time?
First one that comes to mind.
God Only Knows by the Beach Boys.
There we go. That's
You
a
know
great
that
track.
about you, Murray? Or it's got to be Elvis. Don't. That's the name of the song.
It's called Don't,
Don't.
by Elvis.
Yeah, I thought so, but I could have been wrong. Yeah, personally, it's Toes Across the Floor by Blind Melon. Love those
okay.
guys. Those guys are
I
great.
don't actually know that one. No,
Yeah,
Blind Melon.
well, Blind Melon's awesome.
No Rain, that was Blind Melon.
Yeah, No Rain, Blind Melon. Yep, there we go. Almost 20 years ago, you started Soul Movers.
Yes.
What was the initial sound you were trying to capture when you
Well-
first came to make the band?
It was the guitarist at that time was Dennis Tech from Radio Birdman, and he loved a band called the Detroit Cobras, who were from Detroit. Very rough and ready, retro R&B, but with a bit of an edge. You know, it's got a drive and edge. He comes from Detroit, obviously. So Iggy and the Stooges, Sonic Rendezvous, all those kinds of bands have that driving edge. It's kind of a dirty inner city sound. So we really loved that. It's got a bit of full throttle angry female vocal in there as well, like the growling noises that Etta James is really known for. So that's where it all started, and it ended up with Murray taking over on guitar, and 4 albums later we're really happy where we're at with it now, because I think the thing is, dirty stinking rock and roll is great for clubs, but we love playing festivals and we love playing for a broad spectrum of audience. So the songs that we have in the set now are very much OG Wiggles can get it, so
absolutely.
it's retro, but it's got more colour to it, and it's probably a bit more fun, a bit more bouncy. So it's soul rock, but with a bit of sprinkling of pop and maybe a little bit of Wiggles DNA.
A little bit of Wiggles DNA. Well, going straight into that, you're the OG Red Wiggle.
I am indeed. Yes.
What was it like?
There's only one.
Yeah. What was it like coming from being a Wiggle to being a part of the Soul Movers and being a creative force in that to being a creative force in this?
Well, I've always played in sort of rock bands all through the 80s. I was 30 when the Wiggles started, so I'd already had a bit of a life in rock and roll.
The Transistors.
And
The Cockroaches? Is that true?
I wasn't actually in the Cockroaches. That was
The
Anthony
Finger
and
Guns?
Jeff. I had a
wow.
band called
There we
Finger
go.
Guns. Not as successful as the Cockroaches, but
But
we
they
did
did
all
play
right.
with.
And then I did the Wiggles for 20 years.
Yeah.
And that was an amazing experience,
Yeah.
and it was we created it, we started it. It was fantastic. But this
Yeah.
has just been really great. When I finished up with the Wiggles in 2012, I was kind of at a bit of a creative loss. I was just trying to find out where I was going. I played with quite a few different bands, but none of it was my own stuff.
Yeah.
But when I got together with Lizzie to restart the Soul Movers, we started writing together, and I found it really satisfying.
Yeah, well,
110 songs later.
110. Whoa, over 4 albums. You guys have done heaps.
And some that we haven't put out.
Singles, all sorts of things.
I read that you contacted Lizzie over an email. Or
No, it was Messenger.
Messenger.
Yeah, Messenger,
There we go.
Facebook. Yeah, well, we knew each other a little bit,
Yeah.
just mainly from being at gigs because we're both really tall, and so we could see each other across the room. But I didn't realise she was a singer, and I got hold of the first Soul Movers album, and I was blown away by, especially by the
Too
songs,
kind.
but also by Lizzie's vocals.
Yeah.
And so I got in contact and said, would
What
you
you
like to do
doing?
something? And we started rehearsing with some people, and then I said, well, let's make it the Soul Movers. Let's go back and
Sure.
and do
And
those
I had
songs.
never
And
seen a Wiggles episode.
She didn't know
Not
anything
once.
about the Wiggles.
I'd never
And
seen
what year was this that you two connected?
2012.
12 or 13, I
So it
think.
was
maybe
right
12,
after
2013.
you
Yeah.
departed.
Yeah, not
Yes.
long after, yeah.
He didn't waste any time. He needed to play his guitar.
Yeah.
Well, you've said that some of your influences came from, Detroit
Detroit Cobras.
Cobras.
Yeah, have a listen.
There
They're
we
pretty
go.
cool. But much earlier than that. So
Yeah.
it's Buddy Holly, Elvis Presley, all the oldies.
Dusty.
Yeah, Dusty Springfield's
Aretha
a big
Franklin, all
one.
that
Yeah.
sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And has your new sound have you taken influences from new pieces of music along the way and formed it into something else?
Oh, look, you keep listening to new music right through your 20s into your 30s. And I think to some extent you sort of shut the books because,
Sure.
there's so much beautiful music to listen to.
Yeah.
Whether it's Bruce Springsteen or the Ramones or, a whole bunch of bands that you might love growing up and in your 20s and 30s. Like, I'll still listen to Devo. I'll still listen to the Violent Femmes.
Yeah. Did you see
Yeah.
them recently?
Yeah, I did
They're
actually.
incredible.
We both saw them. He was a row back, but we were both going nuts. And there's so much music to listen to that you kind of go, okay, well, I'm never going to listen to Chet Baker or some of the old
Chet
jazz.
Faker.
Chet Baker,
The
yeah. I was
original.
listening to Chet the other day and I was just going, God, this music's incredible. His timing's phenomenal. The
amazing.
horns are amazing. So if you want to ever get back to Billie Holiday, you
Yeah.
kind of got to pull up the drawbridge every once in a while and
Yeah.
go, enough. I just want to listen to the stuff I already
Yeah,
love.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And are there influences from the Wiggles that you take? Because you've mentioned that before, that you're taking elements from the OG into this.
Well, I think a lot of it is because, in
Audience,
in the Wiggles, a lot of our influences were that kind of 60s
Yeah.
rock and roll,
Yeah.
so it's
They're massive Elvis fans, for example.
so
Oh,
it's-
really?
yeah, especially Greg's
Yeah.
And
huge,
Anthony.
and Anthony, yeah. So all those things were there, but yeah, we've done a few things because we noticed a lot of 20-somethings were coming to see the Soul Movers,
Mm.
and a lot of them grew up with the Wiggles. So we have one song called "Shake It Loose," and
Yeah.
I do some dancing in there and get the people to dance in. So it's kind of that kind of
Interactive.
interactive
Yeah,
crowd
sure,
involvement
They
thing
wanna
that we
join
do
in.
that comes
Sure.
from the Wiggles a bit. Occasionally we'll do Toot Toot Chugga Chugga Be Great.
Yeah. We
Will
said
you
we'll
pull
drop
that
you
out
home in
today?
the red car.
Oh, we'll see.
Really?
I'm not sure our
No
keyboard
no
player knows
promises.
it.
Whilst researching for this interview, I read a lot about your extensive guitar collection. And there was one guitar that really jumped out to me as a guitarist, and I just can't help but ask about it. And that's your cherry red finish Maton Master Sound that was made for the Wiggles. And I want to know, does that ever make an appearance on stage with the Soul Movers?
No, it usually lives at the Wiggles studio, actually.
The Wiggles
At
studio?
the studio, yeah. The
Yeah,
Wiggles
right.
have their own
Yeah,
studio.
wow,
so-
okay.
They have a compound.
Yeah, so I used to a lot
Wiggle
in the Wiggles. My acoustic that I play when I play acoustic on
Sure.
stage is a Maton, a beautiful Maton.
best.
But yeah, no, the Maton were they were really good to the Wiggles and gave us quite a few guitars
Yeah.
but it was also like reciprocal.
Yeah.
Because we were big in America with the
Yeah.
Wiggles, people were saying, "What's that
Mm.
guitar?" And so much so that we did some work with John Fogerty from
Yeah.
Creedence Clearwater. We recorded
wow.
a couple of songs,
Incredible.
and he said, "Oh, I want one of those guitars." So Maton made one for him.
Oh, wow. Well, I want to thank you two so much for coming along and being a part of our second ever episode.
Oh.
And,
Pleasure.
Congratulations,
well,
guys.
thank you for being a
Yeah.
part of this. And we'll be watching you on stage in just a minute.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. Looking forward to.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll go
thanks,
get our
Dante.
glad rags on, get our finery on. My slightly wiggly dress.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Green Room Unplugged. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.